Welcome to Really San Francisco. This is the show all about what's going on in our lovely city, who's doing what, why they're doing what they're doing. And today is kind of an emergency last minute podcast between my wonderful co host, Richie Greenberg.
Hey,
Um,
everybody. Hey, nice to see everyone on the last couple of days of 2025.
yeah, so we're talking the reparations bill that
Oy vey.
slid in. It
Oy,
slid
big oy
in
vey.
like, yeah, big oy vey, big what the WTF? How
Yeah.
did this happen? The Board of Supervisors unanimously voted to advance it. And the question was, as you know, Richie, and you're going to go into this, the question was, will Daniel Lurie sign it? Will he just say, you know what? Sounds interesting, but I'm going to take a pass. Well, what
Mhm.
happened? What happened, Richie?
Well, we found out that it seems that with very little fanfare at all, with no big announcements, that Daniel Lurie, our illustrious new mayor that everyone had big hopes for, and everyone thought trusted was going to not only turn the city around, but was going to make things a lot more even keeled. He wound up signing that legislation, which then gives approval to set up a fund to begin the process of collecting funds. It's a way to distribute reparations. And that happened on the 23rd of December, just a few days ago, under the cover of darkness, while everyone was either involved with Hanukkah and the tail end of Hanukkah, or they were preparing for Christmas coming up, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. It just slid right through, as you said, and then we just discovered it yesterday late afternoon.
I have never had an issue with Daniel Lurie being the Instagram mayor. I thought it was perfectly fine. It is highly suspect that somebody who is constantly touting what he's doing, what he's done, why he's doing what he's doing, did not make one single announcement about this on any social media platform. Very weird, very, very strange. And you know what? Really deeply disappointing. You made
Yeah.
a great comment, which is we had a lot of hopes. I remember this time last year, very soon was going to be the inauguration. It was an
Yep, and
exciting
you and
moment.
I were at that. Both of us, we were
Right.
media with the media passes. We were up front, and we covered his inauguration.
Yeah.
And even I mean, it was a really hopes were high. London Breed was forced out. We got a new mayor in who made all sorts of promises, and then this.
And then that's, you know, I get a lot of heat for being the optimist, for being the person who has kind of said, you know, well, let's just kind of step back and let's just let him do his thing. And maybe it's not so bad. And maybe, maybe underneath it all, everything really is going swimmingly. Not true. At this point, I can't say I'm a pessimist, but I'm looking at this going, this was an insanely bad move. I was hoping it was a mistake, as in terms of like, are you just taking a stupid action? But you know what? It's not. This is
So
deliberate.
so let me break down what led
Please
up
do.
to this,
Yes.
okay, without getting too far in the weeds.
Yes.
So basically, a few years ago, 2023 more or less, there was this movement under previous Mayor London Breed, joined by the then president of the Board of Supervisors, our city council, Shaman Walton, to think about this idea of, hey, we need to think about reparations for those Black uh, residents who had suffered years under various excuses, reasonings. It's not just slavery. There was more than that. Actually, that started in 2020, 2021, not 2023.
Mm.
And let's just fast forward. What happened is it went through hearings, it went through public hearings, it went through preliminary ideas, it went through multiple iterations of a plan. They actually had a African American advisory committee created and paid to come up with a plan. It was a little bit more than 100-point plan. I mean, a massive bunch of things that they wanted to do. So it just kept going through the motions, month after month, year after year, until finally the final plan was, quote, accepted by the Board of Supervisors. Didn't mean they were going to put it into motion. It meant that they physically took the paper, they got the whole plan, and they said, okay, we're accepting this for consideration. And they all unanimously, all 11 members, accepted it. That gave a little bit of public uh, outcry, caused some uproar then, but then it faded into oblivion when we went to London Breed's re-election, and she lost. It lost. But then what happened is just a few weeks ago, it kind of came back. And the way it came back was in the form of, well, the board wants to now move forward, taking little baby steps. And the first thing they're going to do is they're going to see if they can authorize creating a fund, like a bank account, right? We're going to open a fund. We're going to open a bank account. We're not putting any money into it, but we're going to create the vehicle, the way that any money that eventually will be collected can go into that and start paying out using that 100-point plan.
Right.
So last week at the Board of Supervisors meeting, uh, they went ahead and voted on opening this account, creating the funding mechanism. And 11-member board, 10 voted yes, one was excused. So it wasn't unanimous, but it was unanimous by those who were there. So what that did then is that set into the next phase is here you have an approved piece of legislation, an ordinance by the Board of Supervisors, and now it goes to the desk of Mayor Lurie for consideration. So that's where you and I, Erica, this is where the crucial time happens, because now the mayor has a piece of ordinance that has been approved by the board. There are three possible outcomes. One is he says, yes, I agree, and signs it and sends it back to them, and boom, it's all done. That's possibility number one. Number two is he decides that he doesn't want to sign it, and then just lets the time expire. 10 days, right? 10 days, lets it lapse without signing it, and then it automatically becomes law because that's just the way the mechanism works. It's been signed and voted on by the Board of Supervisors. And the third option is that he could veto it, which means he says, no, I don't approve. I'm rejecting this. And that's where you and I, Erica, could have come up with a whole reasons why he could have vetoed it. But we all know that if you vetoed it, it wouldn't matter because then it would go back to the board and they could vote to override the veto, meaning to supersede it, to ignore it, and they had unanimous. So it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have stopped it if Lurie had gone ahead and vetoed it. So that's what happened. Just a couple of days ago, it wasn't vetoed. The time period, 10 days, did not expire. Lurie instead decided to actually sign it, which means he is in agreement. He agrees to the
Right.
terms, and we would think that he knows all about the plan. He knows the history of the plan. He knows the terms, the propositions, the hundred or so proposals that are in there, and that he should know what that says and what the egregious, unlawful, unconstitutional scheme that this is. And and Erica,
I,
do you think that Mayor Lurie understands the 100 points?
I I have to assume that he does. So that's where I was going. I was vacillating. I was thinking, I'm really hoping this is a matter of stupidity, ignorance, naivete. That is preferable to knowing what this would do and saying, I like this. This is what I want. This is what's good for, this is I want this to happen. I would prefer the former. Yes, yes, be
Yeah.
stupid. That's fine. Go back on it. Say, I just didn't know. That's great. Then you can excuse, whatever. No, what we didn't say, Richie, is what this would do. Where
That's
would the
right.
money be coming from? Who would be getting the funds? Under what circumstances? Why
Yeah.
don't you know this like the back of your hand? Why don't you explain what that is?
So we'd need a couple of hours to go through all of it because it's so much. But the thing is that when the plan was first proposed a few years ago, the first thing that jumped off the page and media and everyone grabbed onto that headline. Do you remember? $5 million per eligible black
Yep,
resident. Okay.
yep.
So first of all, that doesn't mean every black resident. That means those who were eligible. That meant that they had to be a resident of San Francisco during a specific time period, which does not include right now. It talks about historically. So it's not just a descendant of slaves. It had to do also with the war on drugs. If these individuals happen to be arrested and incarcerated, there's a whole list of criteria. But the thing is that it's more than just $5 million lump sum one time payout. It also would look at the individuals who are entitled, who are qualified today. What is their income today? And if it falls below the area adjusted mean income, that there will also be an annual salary supplementation to bring them up to almost $100,000 per worker per year in perpetuity for 250 years moving forward. So it'd be for that individual and then their heirs, their descendants going forward 250 years. So it's $5 million plus the supplement for 250 years going forward. I mean, that is not only is that bonkers, not only is that ludicrous, that's financially, fiscally impossible for San Francisco to pay. But I mean,
Where would the money come from?
where
Where
would
would
it
the money
come
come
from?
from, Richard?
Well, there are a few different sources. One of them, because this fund has been now approved to be opened, it could be from donations. It could be from corporate donations. It could be from Mayor Lurie's rich friends that want to donate, and it goes into that fund and then distributed out to the various organizations and agencies. Um, but it could also be the taxpayers, right?
Yeah.
It could be taxes, which mean property tax, not income taxes. We don't have income tax here, but property tax, sales tax, gas tax, hotel tax. Basically, everyone would be paying into this, and it would be coming from the general fund. It would not be a specifically earmarked tax unless in the future they put a tax on the ballot and then it gets approved if it does. And that would potentially help in there too. But the biggest thing about all of this is that it would come from everyone that is not black, right? That's what makes this so ludicrously unlawful, irresponsible, illegal,
Unconstitutional,
unconstitutional. Because what they've done now in this plan, the hundred,
divisive,
yeah,
stupid.
stupid, yes, yep,
Yeah, you name it.
racist,
Eh, Racist.
racist, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. They
the I was going to say, I was going to
Erica, we are
say,
flabbergasted. We are
yeah, we
flabbergasted
are
at this.
flabbergasted. Nobody wants this. Nobody wants this. That's another thing is that there hasn't been you know what? This is what the people of San Francisco want.
Yeah, no, we don't want
Where
this.
we don't want this. I actually did, I emailed all of the supervisors and Daniel Lurie this morning about this with
Are
a
they
10,
working? It's Saturday. They're
no,
working.
of course not, but they'll have it. It's a list of 10 questions.
Oh,
Um, and essentially it is, uh, yeah, here are my 10 questions that need to be answered for each person who
all right.
signed this ordinance. What influenced you to sign this bill? Why?
Very
Where'd
good.
you get it? Did anyone from the African American Reparations Advisory Committee, which is managing this, approach you for support? Right?
Mhm,
Did you
mhm.
get, kind of important. What specific positive outcome do you expect from it? Do you believe the majority of San Franciscans support this? What are some negative consequences that might arise should the funds be allocated and dispersed? That is a really important question. Have you thought about it? Have you thought about okay. Do you trust AAROC to properly administer the fund despite Vice Chair Tanish Holland's history of fraud? Big
Mhm,
issue there.
mhm,
Why would San Francisco, a city of immigrants, many of whom are first generation, who had nothing to do with any of this, take this action?
mhm.
How much city and state money would be allocated for this fund? Why wouldn't you just support private donations going directly to individuals? Easy peasy. And then finally, what message does this send to financially struggling San Franciscans who would not be entitled to the
Mhm.
funds?
That's very
Oh,
good list. Very good list. Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, it's this is what is owed. When you talk about what's owed to San Franciscans, answers to those questions is exactly what is owed to the people of this city,
Yeah,
because this bill is garbage.
yeah,
It's worse
it
than
is.
garbage. It's
Yeah.
stinky garbage that needs to be buried, put a cross on it, whatever it is, put a tombstone on it, say goodbye, get rid of
S-
it.
So there are multiple organizations and groups that we were involved with creating this. You have the Board of Supervisors, who is the
Uh,
legislative legal entity that can like appoint or push for a issue, which is reparations. Then they created as you mentioned, the African American Reparations Plan Committee. That was a 15-member paid group, and people don't understand that they actually got paid
really?
25,000 dollars or so for their time and effort to meet monthly to create this horrendous plan. So that's the second one. Then you have the Human Rights Commission, which is a division, a commission within City Hall government, which is going to be, I believe that's where the fund is going to be administered through them. So you've got at least those three. And
Dreamkeeper.
well, Dreamkeeper is just
That
another
is, that's big.
offshoot, right? Now, the thing is that even more than $5 million plus the supplemental income for 250 years, there are other terms also. And I know I've said this to people. You interviewed me a couple of years ago on your show, and I tell people anytime I'm approached to say, tell me what it is that beyond the money aspect, and I tell them, and people look at me like I'm crazy. They say, no, no,
Mhm.
we can't. You're misunderstanding it. No, I am not, because it's a 100-point plan. It's not a 3-point plan. It's a 100-point. Let's look at a few of them. One of them,
Okay.
and constantly it is. This is not my words. This is the words that the committee uses. They call black, not African American. So they say black credit scores, black banks, black debt relief, black healthcare, black psychologists to help the black teachers that were forced to have to teach white supremacist curriculum in schools that had black students. So they want to have black schools with black curriculum. They want any of the residents now, the qualified black residents that are living in public housing around the city. They want to take those buildings, the physical buildings, the public housing buildings, and and convert them to condos, and then each unit gets given for $1, given now to the occupants, to the tenants, and now it's their property. So it now gives them
Uh-huh.
they get property. See, then who pays those condo fees? Not them, but everyone who is not black. Who pays the interest if it's an interest on loans? It's forgiven. So it just keeps going on and on and on. That everything in society that you would define as a society, healthcare, education, housing, business, um, like that, right? Credit cards, any of that banking, they want to separate out and have a black version of it that they administer. No one else has any say in the administration of it or the monitoring of how any funds go. That's their purvey. And then everyone who is not qualified, everyone who is not black, has to pay for it. So to me, that's apartheid. It's more than just simply unlawful, unconstitutional. It's setting up an apartheid situation, an apartheid scheme in San Francisco, where a minority of a minority right now, what's the black population? About
Uh,
five?
the white population, gosh,
No,
the
no,
white
black.
about 4%.
Yeah, 4%, 4 to 5, right? Is going to fiscally, financially control and and everything else in that society is now going to be um, paid for by everyone else who's not them. So to me, again, that's apartheid. I mean, I'm holding back my disbelief and and just dropping a whole bunch of curse words and f bombs.
Okay.
You know, it's just unbelievable that it's unbelievable that Daniel Lurie would have signed this and that he would have read through it and approved all those 100 points.
Yeah. Why do you think he did?
Coward. You think that he's being pressured? That
Yeah.
that I mean, to me, someone actually today on my Twitter X account said to me he signed it because he had to, and Richie, you would have also if you were mayor. No,
What?
absolutely not.
What?
Hell no, I would not have done that. I would have very respectfully, very clearly. You're laughing. You're laughing. I would have very respectfully just simply said, you're still laughing. Um, no, we're not going to subject our city and city hall to the tidal wave of state and federal lawsuits that are going to come down as a result of this horrendous scheme.
And what I say to that, bring them on. Bring them on. Let's get Harmeet Dillon. Let's get everybody involved and sue the pants off of everybody who allowed this to go even a tiny bit forward because you deserve it. I
Mhm.
want to do, and it's something I know that we're reaching the end, but I have to say, we need to do a survey, a poll of some kind where we're able to really gauge the attitude about this from the general population, right? Where do people
Mhm.
stand on this?
Mhm. Yeah.
There was one that was done in 2023, uh, and overall people were opposed to it, just
Right.
completely opposed to any kind of cash monies that were distributed for this purpose, right? That was
Mhm.
2023. Here we are about to launch into 2026. And I
Right.
think attitudes have become even more firm against it. We
Right.
should, at some stage and in some way, we really should get a real good cross section um, of attitudes about this.
Now, great idea. But one of the problems is, and I experienced this because I did so much research, as you know, I had a
Mhm.
website. I spent countless
Yeah.
hours analyzing it and putting all the information online. The problem is that local, state, and even national media don't want to cover it. They don't want to critique it. They don't want to go through it with a fine-tooth comb and say,
Mhm.
wow, this is really a scheme. This is a horrendous unconstitutional scheme. So they dropped the ball on doing their research and just simply asking the questions. They didn't have to make any big judgment calls. They could just say, "Can you explain this? And can you explain that term? Can you explain this proposal?" Right? They didn't do that. So that's number one. Number two,
Right.
as you mentioned,
A quick
massive.
aside there, a quick aside there.
Yeah,
It seems like it's still not, has not been covered yet by the
yeah,
Chronicle.
yeah. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it is.
So, so who to sue? So here's who they could go after: the African Americans Reparations Plan Committee. Although
Mhm.
they finished their job and they
Yeah.
kind of dissolved. That was it was like a 2 or 3 year stint. They did it and they're gone. But still, they were a major player there. Then you have the mayor London Breed who pushed this. Then you have the current mayor Daniel Lurie. You have the 11-member board of supervisors now, and then just a year ago who approved it, including people like like Dean Preston was on it, right? Um, and then a really big, important person to consider because his name and his office staff is on almost every document. You know who I'm talking about?
No.
David Chu,
Oh God. Yeah.
because the city attorney has to approve all the format of all of the documentation, all of the presentations, all of the proposed legislation, and his name is on every single one saying approved in format David Chu, city attorney. So he gets his ass sued as well. So this could
Good.
be a massive, massive tidal wave, as you said, Erica. Bring it on.
Bring it on. And listen, we want to hear from you out
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Text us, email us, please contact us. Go to I'm on X, easy to find, Erica J. Sandberg. Richie, you are Greenberg Nation on
yep.
X. Um, Let us know your thoughts, please. It's really important. We would love to include it in any kind of stories that we may be doing on this. Hopefully, we will be doing a lot because it is juicy and in a not very good way. So, in
Yeah,
a terrible way. What a disappointment. What an
yeah.
absolute crashing, disgusting way to start the new year. Just really appalling. And,
Yeah.
you know,
I know
I'm on
we're
that
getting
board.
comments. We're getting comments from all over the country
Yeah.
right now on our Twitter accounts. You've put a few posts there describing
Yeah.
issues. I put one on yesterday, and it's over 300,000 views. I just can't believe that this what's it attracting. So
Yeah.
okay, so have we?
Embarrassing,
It
embarrassing.
is. It is.
Love you all. Thank you for
Yes,
listening, Richie. Can't wait for you to get back in the city. You're still in the set in New Orleans.
New Orleans. Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
I've been
Okay.
in New
Well,
Orleans.
obviously, this
Okay.
coming year is going to be pretty interesting.
It
So
will.
stay tuned, everyone. Talk to you
Thanks,
soon.
everybody. Thank you. And really, 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 San Francisco.
It never ends.
Unbelievable.
Bye, everyone.
Okay. Bye bye.